All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The much anticipated verdict of the United Nations top court is finally out. Now, Israel, according to the International Court of Justice, must prevent any kind of a genocidal act in the Gaza Strip and must also facilitate for the urgently needed humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. The court has urged Israel to refrain from any possible acts that could result in the genocide of the Palestinian people. This is what the top court has said unequivocally. Listen.
It is also of the view that Israel must take measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to the members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip.
The South African President Cyril Ramaphosa celebrated as he watched the World Court's ruling live on a big screen in Johannesburg. Now remember, it was South Africa that dragged the State of Israel to the International Court of Justice on charges that it was committing genocide on the people of Palestine in the Gaza Strip.
Guys. Prendre toutes les mesures en son pouvoir pour prévenir la commission à l'encontre des Palestiniens de Gaza et tout acte enfreindre le champ d'application.
Now, South Africa has hailed the ruling as a decisive victory for the international rule of law. Now, Israel's Prime Minister, on the other hand, has said that Israel has a right to defend itself.
Israel's commitment to international law is unwavering. Equally unwavering is our sacred commitment to continue to defend our country and defend our people. Like every country, Israel has an inherent right to defend itself. The vile attempt to deny Israel this fundamental right is blatant discrimination against the Jewish state, and it was justly rejected.
And all of this, of course, comes amidst a growing chorus of international voices who are expressing some very serious concerns for the Palestinian civilian population in Khan Yunis, which is the main city in the southern part of Gaza and also elsewhere in the besieged territory. Now, these are videos that, remember, are released by the State of Israel and its military that show the tactics that Israel is employing deep inside the Palestinian city, including in places that are densely populated. According to Hamas, refugee camps and public facilities across Khan Yunis are relentlessly being bombed by the Israelis. Hamas has also said that Israeli snipers are shooting at Palestinians who've been trying to flee to safety even when they've been holding up white flags from places such as the Al-Amal hospital. And Israel has also put out videos such as this, where it says that it is going door to door through some of the most densely populated regions in the Gaza Strip in search for any Hamas members. And this is now the video that shows the Israeli tanks and heavy armor pressing on as serious concerns continue to grow about the Palestinian civilians who have been trapped in areas such as Khan Yunis and several other areas in the Palestinian enclave. Now, there is no safe place in the Gaza Strip and no one in Gaza is safe. The United Nations Agency for the Palestinian Refugees has said that tank shells hit a building that was sheltering 800 people in the city of Khan Yunis on Wednesday, and 13 people were killed and 75 others were injured in this Israeli shelling on a refugee camp building. Now take a look at some of these videos that are emerging from the Gaza Strip. Now, these are videos of the desperation to which the Palestinians have now been reduced through. Thousands of Palestinians crowded around a truck one of the few trucks that was allowed to enter into the Gaza Strip that was delivering some aid into Gaza City's Zaytun district.
The events here have reached a tragic situation. The word famine is not sufficient. Honestly, the word misery is not sufficient to describe the deteriorating humanitarian situation that's never been seen in history. Here, people are eating fodder and eating animals.
Now, the United Nations agencies and aid groups have also sounded alarm about the growing threat of disease and famine in Gaza when estimated 1.7 million people are uprooted. But the big question, of course, is, after the ICJ ruling, will Israel change its strategy and will Israel halt its assault? And earlier I spoke with retired Colonel Rich Oughton, who joined me live from Washington, D.C., and this is what he had to say.
Well, Mohammed, it's good to be with you. Thank you for having me. You know, it's an interesting and a curious ruling in a sense, because both South Africa that launched the case and Israel are sort of claiming a vindication or victory from this initial decision. On the one hand, Israel says, well, they didn't order us to stop, which is true. For that reason, I don't think they will stop, because all the statements from Israeli political and military leaders indicate that their goals include further reducing the control in southern Gaza of Hamas. That means their military infrastructure, their tunnels and whatnot, to the level that they've done in the northern part of Gaza. Yet South Africa says, look, because you were ordered to take certain measures to avoid genocide, it legitimizes or vindicates the idea that there is a risk of genocide and that certain genocidal acts have been or may possibly be committed. So both sides sort of found something to like, or at least are spinning it that way from the decision. But I do think until the operational plans that Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli military leadership, the security cabinet, have enunciated, which is to remove Hamas's ability to launch terror attacks or military operations from the southern part of Gaza, until that's completed, they're not going to withdraw their troops. Now, they will, in my opinion, have to be a little more careful about the impact on civilians of these operations. It's a terribly crowded place. There have been an inordinate amount of civilian deaths. And now this decision shines a big spotlight on that. So they're going to have to implement more cautions and more precautionary measures and protection measures, let more humanitarian aid in, but I don't think they'll stop.